So my research career started because I was really lucky to grow up in Cambridge. And so every summer we have a science festival, and at the science festival there's loads of activities that showcase different aspects of science. So physics, chemistry, biology, and you get to do little experiments and little things with researchers that actually work on their subjects to be able to learn about what you can actually do in the life of a scientist. When I was 15 and I was at high school where I did a 1-week observation of a scientific lab looking at genetics in fruit flies, and so we were looking about how changes in genetics can change how the embryo grows. Is that, as I said, I grew up in Cambridge where I specialised in biology, chemistry and maths at A-level. And I then went to university at Bristol to study biochemistry, and as a part of my degree I did an internship between second and third year in immunology, and so I realised that the world of research really interested me. And so I then did my third year project on, which was half bioinformatics and half lab work, on regrowing knee tissue instead of doing knee transplants, and I found the lab work really interesting but the bioinformatics not so much. And so when I graduated, I decided to work for a biological startup. So we were looking at the use of liquid biopsies to diagnose liver cancer, which is something I found really interesting, which then pushed me to continue in my academic career. So I then moved to Lyon and I did a master's degree in biosciences at Lyon. And as part of that, I then did my internship for 6 months at the CRCL looking at brain cancer. And I was lucky enough to then continue in the lab to work on my PhD project. Plenty of opportunities, including talking to people who are in the same scientific background as me, about scientific research, about projects, about different things like that, but also about learning about different parts of science which are not linked to my project. So I also work with physicists in Paris, which gives a really interesting side that I don't normally get when I'm only with biologists. I'd highlight the ability and the opportunity to learn and work on true technical skills in science, but also learn really interesting research which is at the forefront of what we're working on. Well, I think I've been really lucky that I've had a lot of female inspirations in science as I've grown up, and so I've never really felt like I couldn't go into science from being a woman. But I would say moving to a new country to do my master's and then continuing on with my PhD is always something that is interesting. Learning about the culture of a different country and how the academic situation works, or about how people go about science, can vary, but it's also a really interesting learning experience. So cancer of the breast which has metastasized to the brain. And more specifically, treatments that are currently in the clinic are too large to pass the blood-brain barrier, so the barrier that protects the brain. And so I work in collaboration with a startup in Paris to open the blood-brain barrier using focused ultrasounds. And with this opening, we can hopefully better treat the brain cancer. Stay motivated and find a topic that really interests you. There's so many areas of science which are varied and different, and so you can find something that really suits you. Don't feel disheartened if you don't understand something fully. This world of science is for everyone.